Hey fellas, so Acura TL Builder here. I am rebuilding, not completely, but the most pertinent part of the alternator rebuild. So here is an alternator, and it is my OEM one. This is my original one that I've had for more than 10 years now. This is the original one that was new on the car. And it served me now 182,000 miles on my original one. So it's Denso, it's Honda, and so what we want to change, I got a kit here, and I took off this piece already. So don't over tighten this when you're putting on the clamp that goes to the car, because I did that and I chipped this piece and I even bent the metal underneath. So just a little bit, because I used to like torque it down, and it actually, the car was running just fine, and it and it kind of put it on its last legs. So what you do is you take a number 8 millimeter and you take off these 3 bolts. 1, 2, 3. Once you take that off, then underneath will be this, and this will be right here too. And you just pull this off, and it goes like so, right here. There, it's hard to do, just like that. So, see, I torqued this thing so much that the metal actually was supposed to be flat, but the metal twisted here. Also, because I torqued it, I broke this piece right here. It snapped, and I wasn't getting the right. It actually worked fine still, but it wasn't getting the right electricity here. This piece right here, because of that, it's plastic. It snapped. So it became 2 pieces, and this connection right here stopped connecting. I could resolder it and keep it going, because it's good quality, but right here, this is what actually needs to be replaced on these. This I broke myself, but it's not supposed to be. So this is the replaceable part, and just like on your starter, I'll make a video of that as well. There's these retractable electrodes, and this is actually what is the wearable part, and this is what needs to be rebuilt. Usually especially the OEM bearings, they'll work just fine, they'll keep on working. Just don't over tighten the belt, because then you'll wear out the bearings quickly, or quicker. But if you have it at a decent, up to spec, or not too tight, then you won't have to replace these 2 bearings here. And these are the electrodes here that go into there. So you can replace, I got an extra one of those, but for 20 bucks I got a whole rebuild kit. But all you need is this part here, and these retract, and those went bad, but even still, this would have still kept going for another 50,000 miles. So I got a new one. You could see the difference here between the new one and the old one. So here's the new one, here's the old one. You could see this one would have kept still going, but I'm going to put in the new one, and it's going to go a lot longer. So what you do is you take this screw off. It's like this. There's a few screws here. So you take this screw off. It's this right here, these right here. Use a numbered 8, don't actually use the Phillips. So you take 1 screw, 2 screw, 3 screw, and 4 screws. So you take these 4 screws out, and once you do that, then you'll be able to up and lift this out and out of the way. Make sure you keep your screws together. And then you can take this off as well. This will come off. Now there's a connection right here, right here. So that might not come off. So what I did was I just took it and I clipped it. Because this part you don't have to replace, but I have to, because I over torqued this thing and it just ruined it. So this part has to be replaced. So I have a new one with that kit, and it just goes in like so in its old place. And then once you clip this piece, then I just clipped it some more. See, I couldn't, if it'll focus, I couldn't take that piece off, so I just clipped it, and then clipped as close as I could without breaking this electrode. You don't want to break this electrode. So be very careful. If you can't get it off safely, then just clip it, because then when you put the new one back on, See, it goes right on, just like that. And then you can take that and I can't with one hand. You just put it down for a second and you just crimp it. Crimp and it's golden. See, so now it's crimped in place. That's going to stay and it's going to serve well till it needs to be replaced, which probably won't because this is the wearable part. See, it runs on that thing. What you do is you take a piece of, I took here, what is it, like 1500, and I already did it, but you just set it on its side to kind of refresh it. You set it on its side, you take that piece, and you just stick it into there. Stick it into there, and then you just hold it down on the other side like this, and you just spin right here. Just spin it, and it refreshes it. Brings out the copper. See, and it's good to go again. So you refresh that. We've put this one on already, and just probably bend this back. I wonder if I can just bend it back. Can't just bend it back. I won't just bend back. Maybe I can bend it back like so. Watch me break something. I hope not. This is marriage now. Yeah, I'm not going to mess with it, so I'm just going to leave it as is. Just don't damage it in the first place like I did. It should be golden. So we've got, I took these off and I shouldn't have, so I'm going to put these back on. So these I took off, yeah, I shouldn't have because I'm not doing a full rebuild. This is just this wearable part. This is the only thing you really need to change and will keep serving. So one of these, there's four, I don't know if you can see that. So there's four of these bolts, and this one holds this one down right here. So this one's the only one you need to take out, but I took all of them out. I shouldn't have. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 that hold this plate. So I shouldn't have done that, so I'm going to put these back, and I'm just going to put these three, tighten them down, and this one, which is the only one I needed to take out in the first place. So I'm going to put those back on and into place. So this is basically metal onto aluminum, so you don't want to over torque it, especially if you cleaned it with oil like I do. You could have a failure of that thread just by over torquing it, because you may have not, or I might have not taken all the oil off. So I put these on. Should have taken them off. So it's only the one that you should have taken off. And just tighten it down. Not too much. You don't want to strip this, because then you'll have a alternator with a weak link, and you don't want that. So tighten this down. So I'm reinstalling this piece. I tightened this one down, and now I'm going to take one of these smaller ones and put it right here. It's kind of wonky because I have damaged it, but it'll go on just fine. Just don't cross thread it. It's very important. So, see, those are back on. So the tricky part is trying to put these back on. So I'm not sure how I'm going to put this one back on, because see how far they stick out? I wonder how I can do that. Let me think of something. Okay, so back here, this is the new one. Back here, you have a hole. And what you do is you put something like, take a paper clip, open it up. What I don't have a paper clip handy, so I just have a small drill. And you just put it through the hole, and you lower, put on some tension like you put it down on the table, and you lower both of these electrodes. See how they just lower? So you lower both these electrodes while pushing that thing through. Back one first. And then the front one. So you push them through, and then you can even push the paper clip through. See how I did that? See how it went all the way through, and I pushed both of them down. So you put this back on, just like so, it'll like fall on. You can't do it if it's like that, so you just push them down and then it just falls on. Then once you have it on, then you just pull out. And then, did you hear that click? Now it's on the new one, and we have rebuilt the alternator that easy. So put these screws back on, these two here that hold it in place. Do it correctly. Okay. So put the screws, there's two of them, back on. Don't overdo it. Don't cross thread them. Not too tight. Just tight enough. And then you put this top back on, see everything's on. This is the only thing you need to do. So you just take off the lid with the 3 bolts, number 8s. Take a screwdriver, undo 1, undo 2. This pulls out. Then you take the new one and you put the paper clip through and lower the other side down as you put the paper clip through. Then put it back down, pull the paper clip out, and put these on. Voila, that's it. You've rebuilt your alternator and it'll serve you for a long time, especially if you've got the Denso. And in my case, I've got the Acura TL Denso, so I'm very happy to reuse my old alternator that I've had for 10 years. We'll see how long this goes. I'll give you an update in a few 100,000 miles. Alright, so we're going to put this back on. This is just the cap. I cleaned everything up. See, it's nice and clean. It's like a brand new one. You didn't have to go out and spend whatever it would be, you know, 180 bucks, 200 bucks for a brand new Denso, or in most cases a remanufactured one. So you put this on, facing down or towards, with the opening facing towards the alternator. It'll go on one way. Then you put this over that and put the 3 bolts back on. And here's the 8. I'm just going to handy it. And this is a 10. This is a 10 too. Where are my tools? Here's the 8. This is a, why do I have a 9? Okay, oh, it's right here. So, just do by hand. Take this off. 1 bolt, 2 bolt, 3 bolt. Tighten it down. Not too much. Literally, I'm just like, just barely, just with my fingers. It's too much, and it's too much. So this will still move. This is how it's supposed to. And you tighten it down. Don't over tighten this. And we have ourselves a rebuilt Honda Denso alternator. Easy as that. All the internals, unless you're living in a very salt air environment, this will keep going just fine. So that's it. Enjoy, guys.